Faith Watchers, welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. Y'all, how y'all doing? Okay, what is going on? We in the middle of the week, so yes, I know y'all been watching something somewhere. Have you been to the theater? You've been streaming something? What is going on, y'all? Drop it in the comments because y'all know I love to be in y'all movie business. Okay, don't be fronting, don't be acting like y'all don't know what's going on. Okay, don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. All right. Yes, y'all know I love hanging out with y'all and all of that, and we just got to see what's going on. We got to see how y'all feeling. How y'all doing today? Have you been reading your word? Have you told God that you love him today? Because I know that he told you, okay, in some kind of way where you felt it. You felt his arms wrapped around you. You felt him right there in that room, making sure you are right, keeping you together. You in your right mind. You still have eyes to see, ears to hear, okay? You are watching this video. You are above ground. It is a miracle to be alive, okay? And to me, that is God showing you that he loves you, okay? He still has a plan for you, all right? So y'all let me know in the comments what you're thankful for, okay? How's it going in your journey with the Lord? All of that good stuff. Yes. Let me know all of that, all right? But yeah, y'all, as for me, I am doing amazing. I know y'all hear me say that all the time, but it is the truth, okay? I tell y'all all the time. Every time that I get on here and hang out with y'all, I don't know, the energy comes back. I feel refreshed. I feel renewed, knowing that here we are on one accord. So we know that he's in the midst. He's right here in this review, watching it with us, okay, and all of that. So yeah, it is just a blessing to be hanging out with y'all. And thank y'all for taking the time out of y'all day, okay, because I know your time is valuable to say, you know what, let me see what's going on over here, okay, let me see what's happening right now. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with our special feature today, which is titled Finding Faith. Y'all remember I did a movie trailer reaction to this film. I couldn't say necessarily in the video, like, get out there, fill on seats, go watch it and all that stuff, because y'all know I do feel responsible, okay, looking out for y'all souls, all right? And at that time, I did not see the film. I saw what y'all saw was the trailer, and I was just hoping that it all would work out, that no lines were crossed and all of that kind of stuff. And we did hear back. Y'all can tell in the comments of that video, because I pinned that there, that we were going to be all right, that we're in good hands, okay? The people behind this film, they had us in mind, and they knew, all right? They knew what we needed to see and what we needed to hear, okay? And I can confirm that with this review. This is why you have this review, because I did make it out to the theaters. And I do want to apologize and ask that you all forgive me, because I had no idea at the time of recording that trailer reaction that this was a limited theatrical release. Had I known that, I really would have been pressing, putting it in a post, reminding you all to get to the theaters on the 16th and the 17th in your local theater, because it's only in theaters for 2 days at this point. Who knows, that may change. You never know what God has in store and all of that. But yeah, I had no idea. I literally found out the day of that I went to see the film, okay? Because I looked it up. I was like, okay, the 16th, kind of strange on a Monday. And so I'm saying in my local theater, and that's when they had it there. I was like, okay, and I had to call them up and ask, all right, is this the only day y'all showing this film? Because I had to rearrange my schedule and make sure I got out there to see this film. And I hope you all were able to do that or have time to do that as well. But yes, once again, this film is titled Finding Faith, playing in your local theaters. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this thing. And let me tell y'all what this film is about. Finding Faith is a 2025 movie about a woman named Faith Mitchell who spirals out of control after a sudden tragedy. With the support of her family, pastor, and friends, she finds her way back to the light. Faith Watchers out there, okay? This film, no, it took me through it. It really did, okay? I am not going front with y'all. Y'all know, okay? I don't do that. I tell y'all the truth, how I feel, what it really is. Oh, honey, okay? Let me tell you, have them tissues, because I don't know how many times, I can't count how many times that I shed tears throughout this film, that I literally cried. And it was one point I was literally holding my chest like I was surprised. You know, when you see the trailer, so you already anticipated certain things gonna happen within the film, but I just still was surprised, and that just shows the power of this film. in the story of this film. The writer, director here did an amazing job of keeping this story authentic, keeping it real. And I have to say, that is the big thing for faith-based films, okay? That's one of the complaints that people tend to have, especially if you are not on this journey as of right now, you're kind of just checking it out. Let me see what's going on over here. What about this God or whatever? So those usually be the complaints, that it don't seem really real a lot of the times. They hold back certain things from us, and they may have their good reasons for doing so, but at the same time, we know a lot of us, we can take it, and we can take it here. And this director and writers of this film, I guess they stepped out. They had faith in us that we could take this. And this film is so challenging. Let me tell you all that's the reason for my tears, all right? And y'all know, y'all may be saying, Baloo, you all talking about you crying over something, because we know you sensitive. No, it's gonna affect you for real. This ain't about sensitivity, even though, yes, I am sensitive and all of that. Okay, I admit that. But no, it really is. It really has you like that, because you're so invested into this film right away, these characters. And for it to be an almost 2-hour long film, you do not feel it. You do not feel it at all. It has such good pacing to it. And that is such a beautiful thing to me, especially because, let me tell y'all, when I went and seen this film, I literally got off work, okay? So I was like praying, God, please don't let me fall asleep during this film. Not that the film, like it would be the film fault, but just me being totally exhausted. But I knew, because of the story, I knew that, okay, I know most likely this is like real life. I'm gonna be awake. And I was literally awake. It's not a moment that I closed my eyes that I drifted off here and there, or my mind kind of wandered, like, okay, can we get to the point here? It was none of that. From the very beginning of this film, you fall in love with these characters, and the director did such director, writers, all of you all, okay, did such an amazing job with, like I said, the pacing of this film, and having such a few, like, it almost seemed like a glimpse that we got of, like, at the very beginning of this film, of this couple, and really being so invested into them. And we didn't have long to do so. Well, they didn't have long to do that, to get us like that, and they really did. I was like, okay, can I get a Jalen? Can we get a Jalen over here? Somebody bring us a Jalen, okay, for us girls. We all need a Jalen, all right? Someone who just Holy Ghost feel, who loves his family. Such a strong, powerful man, a man who is also very vulnerable, very gentle, who loves his wife, who loves his parents, who love his kid. I mean, all the works. And at the same time, we do get to see that he's not perfect. He does have his things that he's battling, that he's dealing with. And let me go ahead and say that, okay? I was going to introduce Faith to y'all first, but yeah, I jumped on Jalen. All right, let me just have this moment, okay? Because like I said, can we all get a Jalen, all right? Because he was just amazing, so beautiful. You just fall in love with him right away. I just love the way that he loves on his wife, Faith. And Faith, you can tell she's very sweet, very like submissive to her husband, very respectful to her husband and to those around her. She has a lot of good qualities and different things that we wouldn't expect as the film progressed to see. Wow, I had no idea that she was really struggling in this area of faith, because the way that she loves her husband, her child, you see that relationship, that connection, the chemistry she has with Jalen, the chemistry she has with her son here, you just wouldn't expect. You would think that she is just as like on the same page as Jalen as far as her faith, being in her word, praying, and all those different things, because like the love there, and the Bible tells us we would know them based by their love for one another. And so the way that they love on each other, I didn't expect that she was struggling in that area, that she wasn't as, dedicated, as strong as Jalen was. But then you do get to see here and there, but it's just little flickers, little specks of that, sprinkles of that we get to see from the certain things that she says to Jalen when they have conversations, serious conversations about finances, about their household, and upholding these type of things. And the way that, and there's certain things that she says that gives you a clue, like, okay, there's something there. There's a little bit of brokenness there between her and her relationship with the Lord. But at the same time, you don't really catch it or harp on it, because you see the love that she has for her husband. And then you have that, oh goodness, child. Okay, and then you got the in-laws, okay? Loretta Devine, Honey, y'all seen me in the trailer reaction. Loretta Devine, we love her, okay? Anytime she plays a mom, of some kind of family character, auntie, mama, whatever, especially if it's a woman of faith, or if you want to call her a religious woman, whatever word you want to choose to put in there. Anytime we see Miss Loretta Devine in a role like that, she just nails it, okay? She does it. She's one of those people, okay? Like, if she plays the mom-in-law here, if she has her way about her, you can tell there's a little bit of something there between her and Faith, okay? Like some boundaries that are being crossed. And Miss Helen here don't know how to stay in her place a lot of times. She feels the need to do certain things that we're like, okay, Miss Helen, back up now. Please back up, honey, ma'am. Back up. This ain't your house, all right? You got your thing going on over there, but you're doing all over here. And so I do understand Faith, but she does keep, like I said, very respectful. She doesn't necessarily say all that is on her mind at the beginning of this film right away when it comes to her in-law. She does have a deeper connection with her father-in-law, which makes sense. But with Miss Helen, honey, you can tell there's something there, okay? Helen is harping on the foods and all of that. You know, we can't even have a decent get together without you putting in your little info and all of that. What you doing, Helen? Sit down, honey, sit down, okay? Say to her a lot of times, but she, like I said, she does it in a way. It's not like how most people can do. Well, you can tell it's something new. They're just, you can tell you're being kind of rude there. It's not this, with Helen, it's not like that. You ever heard of nice nasty, okay? Some people can be very nice and nasty. And that's how Helen is, right? It does have a lot of comedic moments where you're laughing at her, and that dynamic that she does bring to the screen within this family. But at the same time, you can tell she's the matriarch of the family. Her son Jalen does respect her, does love her, does uphold her to a very high standard. And you can tell, by the way, you can tell he's been raised very well, okay? But like I said, we do have some flaws there, and we do get to see at the very beginning of this film that looking at it from the outside, this family does seem like the perfect family, a family that we would all love to have, that we'll love to have one day, create ourselves or something. Like I said, can we get a Jalen? Did I say that already? Can we get a Jalen? Can we please bring him here, Lord, bring him here. But yeah, you see from the outside that it is a beautiful family. They stay in a very lovely neighborhood, a neighborhood that makes you feel safe. You can tell these people have a little bit of money in the bank as far as the outside is concerned. But then you start to see as the film progresses that everything else isn't what it seems. There are a lot of different things that are going on. Jalen himself is going through it with having to be the leader of his home, the provider of his home. And he's feeling some kind of way, and a lot of different things. He's holding it in, but he tends to lean on God. I love that. And his dad, he opens up in that way. So we do get to see those vulnerabilities there that he may not open up to Faith about. And it's only because of his love for her and the fact that he wants to give her the best. He wants to give his son the best. He don't want them to worry about things that should be more on his shoulders. Oh, can we get a Jalen? Did I say that already? But so we do get to see that. And this couple, I believe, been married for like 15 years. So it's such a beautiful thing, like, to see a couple, forgive me, y'all. I'm trying to get words together, but a colored couple, all right? We see that in a lot of other nationalities, cultures, and different things, that how long they may be together. But to see a colored couple, however you want to call them, black, like I said, color, whatever, okay? To see them and to see that they actually do have a good relationship. It's not ratchet, it's not infidelity and different things that are going on, all that craziness, but it's actually a couple that truly is like loving on each other, not only loving on each other, but are in love with each other. And right there, that ministers to our community, our souls, okay? It does give us hope that it does exist and you can have it, all right? God got some good for you. He got some good for you, girl, okay? So we got that going on, right? And then let me tell you, because one of the things this film touches on so many different areas. It does, like with grief, loss, redemption, forgiveness, second chances, all of these type of things that I can literally go on for an hour or probably close to 2 hours like the film is, but I'm trying to just narrow it in on the most important things that really hit home for me personally. But like I said, this film is gonna connect like everybody. In some kind of way, you're going to find you there. But I'm saying for me personally, because y'all know, I gotta put myself in there. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing that, okay? Don't come for me, okay? That's how I go, okay? I gotta put me in it, right? But for me, I was thinking, y'all, I'm like, okay, sometimes you be wanting something, and you be thinking, and it don't be nothing bad, okay? Like I said, can we get a Jalen? Can we get a Jalen? Can we get a Jalen? All right, and then, you know how the word tell you, you gotta count the cost. And a lot of times we don't do that. We want what we want when we want it, and we don't. And it's not that it may be a bad thing. It could be a good thing. But it's like, have you really counted the cost to that thing? Like I said, looking at Jalen and Faith from the outside, it seems like this is beautiful. They have it. Even from the little things, the little issues that they may have that may come up, it still seems like, okay, compared to other things, I'll take that any day, right? But then I really started to think about, as the film progressed and certain things happen, tragedies happen and different things, and looking at Faith and her journey here. And I'm like, could I really do? You ask for it, you want, you long for, you desire Jalen, okay? But then I'm like, could I really deal with that? Like, as far as, what if I had that and I only had it for a certain amount of time? What if there was a deep loss? What if I experienced that kind of loss that Faith experienced in this film? Could I really cope with that? Could I? And as I was thinking about that, I was like, I don't think that I could. I really don't think that I could. To be so authentically, organically in love with someone, not only love someone, but to be in love with someone like that, and for someone to be in love with you, and if that was to be taken, if that to be cut short, I don't know if I could deal with that. Like, I was seriously like thinking that, y'all, because Jalen was so much to Faith, like so much, like the relationship that they had. Like I said, it was beautiful, it was real, it was organic, it was like total love there. And I just felt Faith. I was like going through it. When she was going through it in this film, I was going through it with her, like seriously. Like, all jokes aside, okay? I know I be laughing sometimes. I do that, okay? But all of that aside, like, I don't know if I could, because that is so beautiful to have. And I know some people say, it's a saying out there, it's better to have love and loss than never have love. I ain't with all that. No, I want it, and I don't want it to be lost, okay? I just don't want that. And I know certain things happen with life. We can't control everything like we see in this film. Certain things just happen, and you don't know why, or you never understand why in these bodies, okay? And when you go on now past this, you probably won't even care at that point, because you're in eternity. You're like, girl, we made it, okay? You ain't think about none of that happened down on earth. So, but just to consider it, because I went there in my mind, I was like, I don't know, and maybe God is doing me. He protected me, okay, because, like, I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments, okay? Y'all let me know. Please let me know. But yeah, that's where I was with that, all right? It took me there. But let me go back to Faith, okay? And the actress Paula, who plays Faith. Girl. I have seen her in other films, but I have never seen her like this. And y'all probably gonna be saying the same thing. Oh, wow. The emotions that she displayed in this film. She took us there. I was like, in every moment, she took us there. And y'all know, and I love that about Faith. Like I said, at the very, very beginning of this film, we saw a different kind of Faith. She was very tactful. Like I said, when it came to her mom and her mother-in-law, she was very respectful. She didn't say certain things. She didn't get out of line. She stayed in her place a lot of times, even though she had every right here and there to maybe say something. But it wasn't worth it. She did her thing, and I love that. But when we see her go through it, when we see certain losses that take place in this film, she went real with it, y'all. Like, real with it. And I love this. The writing of this film, they picked the perfect actors, okay? Everything was just on point, because if anything would have been a slightly different in any capacity, I felt like it would have totally, completely changed the entire film. It really would have, okay? And so I'm so happy that everything was the way that it was, and so, like, strategic with it, because Faith, like I said, she gave us a performance, y'all, okay? Y'all felt everything. She took it there, and I felt that. I was like, yo, when you're going through it, I don't know why people feel like I ain't like this, but I know a lot of people like this. Okay, I know a lot of people like this, and they have good intentions. Okay, and it's no shade to any of them. When you see somebody who went through a tragedy, went through a loss, or whatever the case may be, and you feel the need that you need to fill that space, like you gotta say something, and you may throw out a scripture or whatever. In that moment, I ain't trying to hear that. And I love the way that this film did it. It did it so real because Faith was not trying to hear that. That was not going to change her situation. That was not going to bring back certain things that needed to be brought back as far as she was concerned. And she did not hold back. She really took it there. She went head to toe with the pastor, with her mama-in-law. Everybody can get this. Everybody can get this because y'all don't know what I'm going through. And I just love that, okay? And because you find yourself, and I'll be the first one to admit that, okay? With me, I run things in my head probably 20 times before I actually say something when it comes to like real life and really talking to people, because most people don't provide a space of comfort, a space of peace, a space of safety where I feel like if something slips out or something comes out the wrong way, that it would change the dynamic of that associationship, that friendship or whatever. And so I usually run things over about 20 times before I actually open my mouth and say something up to somebody, okay? Real life. On here, y'all know, I just talk, I tell y'all how it is, okay? Because this is a space of safety for me. At least I feel that way with the subject at hand and what we talk about and different things. So I know I don't really have to rehearse nothing in my mind because what I'm going to say is going to be in line with the word and all of that. Oh, I love you. Jesus is here with me. Okay, so we good. But like I'm saying, in real life, I usually do that, okay? And even when I'm the one on the end where I could use the comfort, where I can use the uplifting or some sort, I am still playing out and rehearsing stuff in my mind when most people should be doing that for me. If I'm the one who's in need of that, I'm on the other end, but I don't usually go that way. And I'm usually like that. And so I felt Faith, like she said the stuff that some of us just won't say. We just won't, because we just know how it is. Everybody can't take everything. And so I love that this film took us there. It really, like I said, it's going to challenge you. It's going to make you feel some kind of way. And you either going to be on one end or the other. But the message in itself was so beautiful and we all needed it. And basically, and I love the simplicity of it. Like, they didn't give us a sermon here. And I really appreciate that. And not to say there's anything wrong with that, okay? But sometimes when you just you're in the trenches, you're in the midst of stuff, I don't want to hear that, okay? I don't want to hear it, all right? Yeah, I know God is good. I know all of that, all right? I know that. I get that, okay? But what I need in that moment, I need that real, okay? That's how I need it. And I feel like the pastor in this film, he gave us that. And he had moments when he was about to go on that way. Like I said, you trying to preach to somebody and all of that stuff. And Faith put him in his place, okay? When she was in that space, she put him in his place. She ain't need all of that. All right, you don't know what I'm going through. I'm in it right now. I'm going through it, okay? And I love that the pastor didn't judge her in that moment, because I believe in real life, a lot of times you get people who do judge you in that and hold you to that and be throwing stuff in your face and all kind of different stuff, but we ain't finna go down that road. But I love the pastor in here. Like I said, he had the patience, the love, the passion, the determination to walk Faith through certain things. And we need more of that in our communities. We need people to say, take us by the hand, forgive me, y'all, and walk us through these moments, walk us through these losses, walk us through these places that we're not comfortable, and provide that safety net, provide a safe space for us, because that's what we need. That is what being the hands and feet of Jesus is about, is really walking through that with people. Like Jesus did in the Bible, he was moved with compassion for people. And we are missing that in this world. We so quick to just be judging people, putting them out there, throwing them under the bus, making light of people's situations, their pain, their mistakes, and broadcasting it to the world as if people don't have feelings and different things. And I love, like, this film just brought all of that to the surface. Just seeing a woman, out of all people, because we know we usually portray as the she-rolls and all of that kind of stuff, we hold it down. And to see in this film that they actually flipped the script and we saw a woman going through this, a woman actually taking off that shield, taking off that armor, and just being who she is, which is that weaker vessel and needing that help, needing that leadership, needing that covering and different things. And we don't really get to see that. Like I said, these faith-based films don't always show us that. And they showed us this in this film. They literally stripped us of all of that stuff that we feel like we be putting on before people. Like we got this, we bosses and all of that kind of stuff. This film stripped us of all of that and showed us who we really are, and showed us that I see you. I see you when you go home at night and you close that door and you're in your room and you don't see me and nobody's there with you. The world is closed off and the social media is cut off, and we see you crying. We see those hurts. We see that pain, that regret that you're carrying every day. You have to literally cover that up just to survive, just to keep your head above water. This film showed us that I see that, and here's how you get through that. Here, give me your hand, let me walk you through this. And I love that, y'all. It's so ministered to my soul. Like I said, automatically connected to these characters. I can say so much, okay? I literally feel like I can go on and on, because we already 25 minutes in. Wow, child, goodness. Okay, I feel like I could literally talk as long as this film went, because it was so much. That it was just literally so much, but it was so simple, and it was beautiful. It was entertaining at the same time. And like I say, have I said this already? Have I said this? Can we get a check? Once again, this film is titled Finding Faith, and yeah, y'all, I hope y'all get to the theater and watch this film and keep it in your prayers. Keep this director, these writers, these actors in your prayers, because it takes a lot to do what they do, okay? We don't see all the different things that people go through to bring a certain message to the entire world, but I know they go through it, and we get a special treat at the end of this film that they bless us with. Of course, I'm gonna leave that. I ain't gonna tell y'all all that. I know I get the people busy. I know I get characters busy. I ain't tell you that. I ain't tell you that, girl. Go watch it. But before I leave y'all for the day, we're gonna go ahead and get into the scripture. And we come out of Psalms. Psalms 34 verse 18, and it reads, "The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit." That's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching, for hanging out with me and all of that. Yes, y'all probably, because at the time, all right, y'all probably getting 2 reviews today, because I gotta put this film out. I gotta put this film out. I almost seem like almost 30 minutes into this review, but I have to get this review out to y'all as soon as possible. But thank y'all so much, and please remember to leave y'all thoughts, prayers, and overall take in the comment section below, because y'all know I love hearing from y'all. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.